this video, I'm going to show you how I made these pair of stockings. The seams are the crotch seams, and the seam for the stocking falls right in the back. So that if you sew it with a pattern fabric, it's not distorted. Usually they have a seam on the side and you have to kind of pull it towards the back and distort it. So I made my own pattern by fitting it on the dowel, pinning it. So I digitized the pattern, which I'm going to include. So to cut the pattern, you cut the pattern and glue it together to make the entire pattern, because it doesn't fit in one sheet. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did that. Here on the final pattern, I adjusted it for here on the feet a little bit. So the final pattern is the final adjusted pattern. So I'm going to make the video that I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you on my proof pattern that I had to make before finally making the final pattern. So cut your pieces out, glue them together so they match, or tape them together, and that'll be your final pattern piece. I just wanted to mention a little tip here. Consider what the stretch that your fabric has, because the fabric that I used for my first pair, the first pair that I made, it has a 4-way stretch and it's extremely stretchy, but this one is a little different. It doesn't stretch as much lengthwise as it does across. And usually this is the selvage and you would put your fabric this way, but in this case you want to do the maximum stretch to go to the sides. So I'm going to cut this pattern this way, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't put the grain line on the fabric, because it depends on what fabric you're using. I'm using this stitch on the machine. Now that I've sewn the crotch area, I'm going to trim it to about 1/8 of an inch. And that's pretty close, but not close enough that it's going to cut the seam. This fabric doesn't fray. You can serge it if you'd like, but in this case, I think serging just adds bulk, and that's not the look I'm going for. And then, now that that's done, we're going to sew the sides. So flip it over to the right side, or flip it around the crotch area, and then right sides together. Match your legs. And then I'm going to sew along this seam and along this seam all the way to the top. Now I finished the side seams, or in this case the back seams. And I know this looks a little small, but it's not really small. It stretches a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold the waistband down, and while I'm sewing it, I'm going to be stretching it so that it gives maximum stretch as I'm putting it over the doll's hips. So I'm just going to sew a little seam all the way around the waist. So now it's all completed. This literally just takes minutes to make, very easy. So now I'm going to just turn it inside out. And it should fit like a glove. Because I've already made this like 4 times. And that's a great fit. No bulkiness. There's always a little bit, but not that much. And this fabric is nice and stretchy, so it fits over her hips fine. And the seam is going to be in the back without having to twist this like that. So that if you have a fabric that's patterned, it doesn't look distorted around here, especially if she's wearing shorts. I would even consider using this as stain prevention leggings by using maybe a thicker fabric and using the same sewing method. Again, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing and giving this video a like. That's going to help me tremendously. The pattern is free for your use.